Hello, this is video training. Unit Sales, Chapter 1, Section 2, Creating a Product File. Okay, let's begin from the main menu, go into Unit Sales. You'll see a button called Unit Product Type File Maintenance. In the previous section, we covered Unit Make-File Maintenance. Now, what we did in Unit Make-File Maintenance was we created all the makes that we deal with. Yamaha, Honda, Volvo, Bayliner, Sea-Ray, whatever types of makes and manufacturers we're dealing with. That's what we did when we created a make file. Now what we need to say is a product file. For example, Yamaha. Yamaha makes many different types of products. They make jet skis, they make motorcycles. So when you go in and you start adding units, it's going to ask you two questions. Who's the manufacturer? And that's what we created in the make file. The next question it's going to ask is, what type of product is it? Is it a boat? Is it a motorcycle? Is it an RV? Is it a jet ski? What is it? Let's go into Unit Product File Maintenance. Okay. First thing you may want to do is hit lookup. There again, like we mentioned earlier, this file is shared with your service department. So if service is using the system already, this file is probably already created. Let's take a look at it. Hit look. Now in my system, these are the categories that I have. For example, I have ATVs, I have boats, I have cars, generators, jet skis, outboards, inboards, motorhomes, trailers, trucks. There again, this is very, very flexible. You can separate your products in various different ways. For example, you may be a motorcycle dealer and say, look, I don't want one product category that says motorcycle. I want to separate my motorcycles into various different categories. For example, maybe I want sports bikes as one category, so I'll create one that just says sports bikes. I may create another one that says touring bikes. I may create another one that says dirt bikes. So it's very flexible. You can set it up any way you want. For boats, I may want one that's called sailboats. I may one that's called center consoles. I may want one that's called motor yachts. So you can separate your products even by different categories. There's lots of reports that report this, so you'll be able to get reports to say, okay, what did I sell for touring bikes? What did I sell for sports bikes? So this is something to keep in mind. Let's show you how to set this up. This is our standard maintenance screen. You would type in a code that you'd want to use. And there again, the code's not very important. What's really important is your description. When you hit the Enter key, it's going to say one or two things, like it does on all the maintenance screens. It is either going to say changing, if I type something that was out there already, like I just did, or it's going to say adding, if I type something that's not out there. Adding. In this case, you'd put in your description. Now, there's one field that we're just going to touch on briefly here. It's called user-defined name. What is a user-defined name? And we'll be covering that on a further section. Basically, the system is very, very flexible. We have a user-defined template that you can create for every single data file you have. We have thousands of customers all over the globe, and each one of those customers sell various different types of products. So it gives you the ability to actually tell the system what you want to keep track of, because they may be different for every single dealer. What you want to keep track of for a motorcycle or a boat or an RV might be totally different from the dealer down the street. So you have the ability to create what we call a user-defined template, so that when you tell the system that, hey, this is this type of product, is the data that I want to keep track of. We're going to be covering that on a later section. Just to I want you to get an idea of where you would set it up and how you'd set it up, but we're going to be covering it in detail a little bit later on. Basically, I'm going to hit A for add, OK to add. That's now in my system. If I do a lookup, is my new one. If I want to look something up, I can select boat. Boat has a user-defined template, where when I say it's a boat, it's going to come up with a new screen that I defined. You don't need to have a user-defined template. Some do, some don't. If I hit trailer, it doesn't have a user-defined template. So there again, we'll be covering that on a later section. Right now we just want you to create your product file. So you have your make file, your product file. Now we're ready to start adding units to the system. Let's hit escape and move on to our next section.